The Anunnaki started mining in South Africa, about 150 miles inland, west of the port of Maputo. It is the remains of a huge metropolis that measures, in conservative estimates, about 1,500 square miles. It's part of an even larger community that is about 10,000 square miles. 200,000-year-old mines Absu. The Anunnaki used this area for one striking thing: gold. They dug for gold in this part of the world for thousands of years. To see the number and scope of these ruins, I suggest that you use Google Earth and start. Then perform a low-flying search inside the area formed by this rectangle. Eridu, home in far away. Ancient Eridu. The first world city and home of Enki in southeastern Iraq, the oldest Sumerian and perhaps world city where the Anunnaki gods reigned over mankind. The Sumerian word, Eden, translates as home of the righteous ones. It was in the Eden that the city, Eridu, was established. The name has been translated into all languages of the world, including Urdu in German, Earth in Middle English, Erz in Kurdish, and Eretz in Hebrew. The word also came to be what English-speaking people call Earth. The place where the Eden was established was in the lands drained by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, and what came to be known as Mesopotamia. The twin peaks of the mountain called Arada Ararat were used as landing guide points for the Anunnaki spacecrafts. Nippur. Later Nippur and other gold refining cities were established, to create the layout of the first spaceport. 415,000 to 100,000 BC, a complex of 8 cities is established and completed in the Eden. By the year 400,000, the city of Nippur Nibruki has been established as a mission control center, and by the year 360,000, Sippar is established for use as a spaceport. Additional cities in the complex include Shurapak, established as a medical center for the use of 9 Hersag. Bad Tibara, established as an industrial center for the purpose of smelting and refining the gold mined in the Absu. Larsa and Lagash, established as beacon cities for incoming spacecraft. Baalbek landing place. The Great Stone Platform was indeed the first landing place of the Anunnaki on Earth, built by them before they established a proper spaceport. It was the only structure that had survived the flood, and was used by Enki and Enlil as the post-diluvial headquarters for the reconstruction of the devastated Earth. It is the only structure on Earth from before the flood. Aerial view of Baalbek. Tilmun, place of rocket ships. Tilmun, land of the rocket ships near the Dead Sea in the Sinai Peninsula, was used as a launch area, until it was destroyed along with Sodom and Gomorrah by the Anunnaki. Destruction scar. Sinai Peninsula from space, showing the scar left from the destruction of Tilmun. This is what Tilmun might have looked like. Temple Mount Israel. The platform in Jerusalem was built by the Anunnaki, after the deluge, the Great Flood, as their mission control center. It was established in this particular place because it was equidistant from the spaceport, Tylam, that was in the Sinai Peninsula, and from a landing platform, Baalbek, that existed from pre-diluvial times, and still exists, in Lebanon. And they developed it on a line that connected the mountains of Ararat with the Great Pyramids in Egypt. That is why mission control was established precisely at that spot. Below are the huge stones in the Rabbi Tunnel, which are part of the construction at the base of the platform. Great Pyramid. 10,500 to 7,000 BC. After the deluge, the Anunnaki create a new place of the chariots, the original site having been destroyed by the floodwaters. The new site will exist on the lands drained by the Nile River, and which, many centuries later, will be known as Egypt. Because the lands are flat and no natural features exist to be used as landing guide points, the Anunnaki create 2 peaks by constructing 4-sided, pyramid-shaped structures. They are designed by Ningish Zidathoth. The largest of the 2 structures is given the name of Ikar. Sphinx. 10,500 B.C. Thoth, the designer, to commemorate the building of the pyramids in the zodiacal age of the lion, builds a lion statue facing the constellation Leo, with his face on it. Due to precession of the Earth, today the Sphinx currently points to Taurus, the bull, every spring equinox. Jericho. 8,500 BC. The Anunnaki establish outposts at the gateway to the space facilities. Jericho is one of them. Gobekli Tepe. Excavations began. A complex on this scale was not thought possible for a community so ancient. The massive sequence of stationification layers suggests several millennia of activity, perhaps reaching back to the Mesolithic. The oldest occupation layer, Stratum 3, contains monolithic pillars linked by coarsely built walls to form circular or oval structures. So far, 4 such buildings, with diameters between 10 and 30 m, have been uncovered. Geophysical surveys indicate the existence of 16 additional structures. Stratum 2, dated to pre-pottery Neolithic B, 7500–6000 BC, has revealed several adjacent rectangular rooms with floors of polished lime, reminiscent of Roman terrazzo floors. The most recent layer consists of sediment deposited as the result of agricultural activity. The monoliths are decorated with carved reliefs of animals and of abstract pictograms. The pictograms may represent commonly understood sacred symbols, as known from Neolithic cave paintings elsewhere. The carefully carved figurative reliefs depict lions, bulls, boars, foxes, gazelles, asses, snakes, and other reptiles, insects, arachnids, and birds, particularly vultures and waterfowl. At the time the shrine was constructed, the surrounding country was much lusher and capable of sustaining this variety of wildlife, possibly where the descendants of Noah lived. Uruk. 3800 BC. The soils, dries, plains and river valleys are resettled. Anu and his spouse Antu come to earth for an pageantful visit. A new city Uruk is built in his honor. He makes its temple the abode of his beloved granddaughter Inanna Ishtar. Pumapunku. This is also built for Anu's visit. At its peak, Pumapunku was unimaginably wondrous, adorned with polished metal plaques, brightly colored ceramic and fabric ornamentation, trafficked by costumed citizens, elaborately dressed priests and elites decked in exotic jewelry. It was part of a larger area called Tiwanaku. Settlements of Mesopotamic and Egyptian/Africans people in Mesoamerica around 3800–3509 BC. Dethronement of Ningishzida thought by Marduk Ra, an exile of Thoth and his human followers from Egypt to Mesoamerica. Rise of the figure of Quetzalcoatl, around 3200–3150 BC. Birth of the first Mesoamerican calendar in 3113 BC. Dwarka coast of India. The ruins are located just off the coast of modern-day Dwarka, one of the 7 oldest cities in India. The ancient Dwarka was a planned city built on the banks of the Gomati River but was eventually deserted and submerged into the sea, as documented in texts like the Mahabharata and Purana, though some experts maintain that it was mythological. As the story goes, Lord Krishna had a beautiful and prosperous city built, with 70,000 palaces made of gold, silver and other precious metals. It was his death that supposedly sent Dwarka sinking into the sea. Kish and Sumer. 3769 BC. Mankind granted kingship. Kish is the first capital under the aegis of Ninutra. The calendar begun at Nippur. Civilization blossoms out in Sumer. Babylon, Gate of God. 3450 BC. Tower of Babel built. Marduk in charge of Babylon. This is what the entrance to the city looked like. Teotihuacan, City of Gods. 3113 BC. Thoth Quetzalcoatl arrives in South America. Starts building his city Teotihuacan. Memphis, Egypt. 3100 BC. Marduk declares himself Ra, supreme god, in a new religion. After 350 years of chaos, the first pharaoh is appointed in Memphis. Indus Valley. 2900 BC. Inanna is given dominion over the Indus Valley. Harappa. The Vedic civilization ended well before 2000 BCE, with the ending of the Harappans following the Great Drought. The next question is, when did it actually begin? Agade, Akkad. 2371 BC. Inanna falls in love with Sargon. He establishes a new capital city. Agade. Akkadian Empire begins. The Anunnakis started mining in South Africa, about 150 miles inland, west of the port of Maputo. It is the remains of a huge metropolis that measures, in conservative estimates, about 1,500 square miles. It's part of an even larger community that is about 10,000 square miles. 200,000-year-old mines Absu. The Anunnaki used this area for one striking thing: gold. They dug for gold in this part of the world for thousands of years. To see the number and scope of these ruins, I suggest that you use Google Earth and start. Then perform a low-flying search inside the area formed by this rectangle. Eridu, home in far away. Ancient Eridu. The first world city and home of Enki in southeastern Iraq, the oldest Sumerian and perhaps world city where the Anunnaki gods reigned over mankind. The Sumerian word, Eden, translates as home of the righteous ones. It was in the Eden that the city, Eridu, was established. The name has been translated into all languages of the world, including Urdu in German, Earth in Middle English, Erz in Kurdish, and Arabic.